But when you want life to go the way you want it and you don't accept life as it is, you suffer.
Roll me, Mac.
What are some small pleasures that make you way happier than they should? Small pleasures that make me happier than they should. When I'm playing something on random, like in music, like if I'm in the kitchen or whatever, and I'm playing one of my playlists, and then I get like a double play by the same artist, I get, that I get kind of overjoyed. Or if I am like riding in the car with, some people I grew up with, and then a song that we grew up idolizing, if you will, comes on, I get happier than I should. When I recognize, this happened recently, when I recognize that I can see similar traits between me and my daughter based off of her showing her gifts. I don't necessarily call it talent, because gifts are born with. I think talents is something that must be taught. But once I recognize a similar gift in that I'm happier than usual, because I know that she's gonna do great things with it, because of the level of creativity that she has. Another thing that makes me a lot happier than they should, I want to say, watching people fall, like getting tripped, not purposely, but I think it was, I saw a TikTok or some shit, or a YouTube, where this cat smacked the shit out of a toddler. I think it was TikTok, one of the things, man, but it was just, it was just a cat being a cat, but it was funny. Or there's another one where this little girl, she was going to the fridge and she got hit by the door. Not funny, because obviously it's a little girl, but I look at it as more of being cute, not so much as like like my man on The Simpsons and shit. But man, that was funny. That was cute. What makes me way happier than usual is when I see people stepping into their gifts. And I don't want to confuse that with what I just mentioned about my daughter, but seeing people watch their growth. You know what I mean? Like something that may have been an influence on, you've been an influence on them in a positive way, and then seeing them utilize that in their own life, and seeing wow, that impact, because the way that it impacted me, that's the gift, is passing it on, and that in hopes that somebody else is going to receive the very same gift and continue to pass it on. I think that's something that definitely makes me happier than it should. Reliving old, I want to say times in school, with music, being such a music head, and reliving the time when there was Cash Money No Limit, when there was Bad Boy, Death Row, and or when TLC was hot, when SWV was popping, when 3T, Michael Jackson's nephews, when Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, pop music was at an all-time high, when black movies were flooding the cinemas in the 90s. I don't know what the hell's happening. Black cinema, black TV shows, all of that, when that was going. When I think about us living that, being a kid, watching Martin, Living Single, and Living Color, and then whatever else came on after that. But that lineup, that whole, you had to be there. You had to be there. You know what I'm saying? You had to be there for those lineups that we used to have to go to school. Mondays, Moesha, the Parkers, D.L. Hewley, fuck else was it? It was another, 101, and the joint with the half and half. Those used to be the days, you know what I'm saying? Think about the moments that you had in that. That was life. It used to be life. I would come downstairs to eat dinner with my mom and my little brother, and Moesha would be on, or the Parkers, and we would sit there and we would watch that. I mean, those things, I think about those times like those are happier times, regardless of what I would have known like my parents were going through. As me as a kid, I wasn't really able to recognize it, if there was anything going on. But to me, that's happier times, being there in those moments, watching those shows and being with, again, just probably picking with my little brother, him picking back with me, us coming up with something funny, just trying to be funny. My mom being a comedian too. Like those moments, like that's something that I think that makes me like happier. Or if I see, like I said, continuing with gifts, and like a friend that knows paintings or whatever, does paintings, it's a hobby, doesn't think much of it, but I tend to think that, it's dope, it's amazing, and I want to use it, you know what I mean? Like that, to me, that stuff, that's where I get happier, I would say, than maybe I'm supposed to. Those little things, I get inspired by seeing other people shine, other people grind. That's another thing too. Like to see people that you grew up with actually do something very successful with their lives, be it from TV, be it their own businesses. Hell, if it means having a happy family, that's success in today's society. If you're able to sustain having a happy family, there's people that I went to high school with that were high school sweethearts that are still together, and I've watched them grow up through Facebook, because we don't talk anymore. But to see them become, from us being kids in Suffolk to now being grown people, and trying to raise their kids and put them on a successful path. I mean, that's where I get happy. I'll say happier than usual is like seeing the tribe win. I think that's really what it's all about. And success is really all dictated by the person who's setting out to do it. Like, what I mean? So it's not to compare one person's success to the other, but whatever you set out to do, and then you'll go after it. And I know that you've been grinding for so long. It's wonderful to see. It's for me. Like, I truly love that shit, man. And I get inspired by it. It makes me want to go even harder. It's a reminder for me to continue doing what I'm doing, trying to become a success in the business endeavors that I'm trying to make. But I would say those are the things small things that I would tend to be happier than maybe I'm supposed to be, just because of the joy that I get from seeing others prosper. What do you remember about middle school? Off the top, Mr. Upton, hands down. Like coming into the cafeteria, John Yeates, and hearing Mr. Upton come on that fucking microphone, and you've never seen a white guy with such a deep, very white voice come on the microphone and be like, "Pizza and French fries, everybody, pizza and French fries." It was like, damn, man, make pizza and French fries sound good as a motherfucker. Cheeseburger and fries, everybody, cheeseburger and fries, or, something like that. I do remember snack line in the morning at John Yeates. And John Yeates being old as fuck then, and I think it's still standing now. And that was over 24 years ago. Yeah, I think that's over 24 years ago. I think when we started going in 96. What's 96? I don't know the number. Fuck it. Yeah, something like that. But might be more than that. Shit. If you're born in 96, yeah, 20, maybe 28 years ago. Shit. I don't know math. You get the point. Y'all figure it out, and I'm sure you'll correct me or whatever in person or in comments. But yeah, the snack line in the morning. I do remember that they used to sell Surge. That's how I'm dating myself. Surge, Andy's hot fries, honey buns. That's the first time I had a honey bun. I was eating honey buns to fit in. I didn't eat it because I liked it. Eventually learned to like it, but for the most part, it was about fitting in. Like, man, you don't want a honey bun? Yeah, okay, I'll get a honey bun. And Surge and the old cherry Coke can, Pepsi, of course. We had Coke, but what else, man? Like I said, I remember Miss Green. I remember Miss Green being a mean ass teacher. I do remember Miss Green. She ain't play with you, Miss Green. Now, I'm telling you, Miss Green. You gotta say her name like that, Miss Green. And she was no nonsense. She was no nonsense with us. That's for damn certain. Catch you walking with your pants sagging, you know hip hop was an influence. And then like, oh no, bring them shits up. Fights. I remember fights. I wasn't in them. I was too afraid to fight. I was more of a jokester. I used comedy to prevent myself from being in a situation for fighting. I was more in fear of what my parents would do to me than fighting back, you know, and all that shit, which would affect me later on in life on some other stuff. But I do remember it was Jonathan Cohen and Jesse Adamson. And Jonathan Cohen put Jesse Adamson's head in the fucking locker and slammed that bitch on him. And yeah, I remember going to the buses. I remember trying to walk your girlfriend to class without being late. Little kid shit, wasn't doing much or nothing. It was just, oh, we said we go together. Oh, she's cute. I think he's cute. I think she's pretty type of shit. Being on the phone, not saying a fucking thing, just not knowing how to communicate at all. You know, the typical Cedric the Entertainer stand-up bit. I know I've mentioned it before. You sleep. I mean, I'm sleepy, but I ain't sleep. And what else was in middle school? Mr. Burwell's class. He used to say everybody's name weird as shit. And I think Mr. Burwell passed away, if I'm not mistaken. So God rest his soul. I remember girls developing. That shit was weird, you know, us being in 5th grade and their bodies just being, you know, very kid-like. And then to get into 7th grade and then seeing a little girl with a grown woman's body to a little boy that's just coming into like adolescence and hormones and all that shit. It fucked with us. Like them African American bodies that would walk them halls, and even some of them Caucasus Mountains too. We had some thick Caucasus Mountains walking around. Some white girls with, you know, that was high up top and high and definitely fat in the back. It was. I just remember seeing them walking, like I said, walking in the hall. Us country folk, you know what I'm saying. Being in the gym. Playing ball. That was really what it was about. Playing ball was, you know, was a way to get girls, of course. I remember V-Sit Reach. Like the little stupid ass, we had to do like a test or some shit, like a physical, like a PT test, every year. And we used to do badminton. We used to have badminton tournaments. We had basketball tournaments in gym. There was one time where Old Dominion, the basketball team of Old Dominion came to play our teachers, if I'm not mistaken. I think our teachers played Old Dominion, or they played against our 8th grade team, one of the two. But it was fun. In fashion, I remember fashion and me not being able to take part in this fashion that I would see. Like the Jordans, the Tommy Hilfiger jackets, Ralph Lauren, the FUBU. I had FUBU. I did have FUBU. But starter hats. What else? Springtime. Springtime was always fun because there was where we had a shorts issue because of body types. Now, white girls could wear the coochie cutters because their body frames didn't support that meat that came with what the black girls had and walking around the school. You know what I'm saying? So they pretty much put out a universal thing, but at first it was like they were only doing it towards like the black girls. They trying to wear short shorts and shit. You know, we like it either way. Well, it was all for it either way. Us little horny ass little 6th and 7th graders and 8th graders, you know what I'm saying, thinking that we're you know, grown. But it was like seeing different couples known for years and years of being together, teachers, and being in different classes, walking the halls, cafeteria, lunchtime, being a future music producer, banging on the cafeteria tables to Put Your Hands Where Your Eyes Can See by Busta Rhymes, Dangerous by Busta Rhymes, Timberland's Sardine, hey, and Poke Beats, that Clock Strikes remix. Yeah, pretty much any Aaliyah, Dirty South, there we go. Can y'all really feel me? East Coast, like all of that. That's what we would do in middle school. It was a nerve-wracking time in middle school. In 7th grade, I remember having this ringworm in my head, right? I was playing in the summer tournament. I think I was playing at the playground. I think I caught that shit there, being a dirty ass boy, hanging at my grandma's house. Came back to school and that shit was in my head. So many jokes, like they do not fuck around on the jokes. Like we do not spare you. If you got it, them jokes are coming, and the jokes came. They not fuck around. You got that hot feeling like when somebody talking about you and they laughing at you in class. Yeah, they talking about your ass, John. They talking about your fucking head. Yep. But you know, I look back at those times, and it's funny to look back at it now, and so many memories that were made with people that I'm somewhat still in contact with. Some people that are no longer with us because they've passed on. You know, a lot of friends. We were all in the same class, and for them to be gone, and it's like, man, time goes by so fast, and it feels like we were just kids yesterday playing outside. Me on punishment because my grades weren't good, and riding on a 21 speed with my best friend T-Dot and her little sister and her little brother. Us riding around the neighborhood. Like, these moments were all a part of the elementary, middle school thing. And to see us now as grown people, parents, you know what I'm saying, mothers, fathers, some of us grandparents, you know what I'm saying, and growing up so quickly, man, like it goes by in a flash, man, and social media don't make it any better. Makes the time go by crazy fast, but middle school was a good time. I really enjoyed it. Shout out to everybody that was at John Yeates from our time there, from 96 through 99. Yeah, through 99. And it was a good time. It was a really good time. A lot of memories. A lot of memories. First time kissing a girl in Virginia, that is. And just, again, a whole lot of moments of trying to fit in and embarrassing yourself and doing shit that, you know, that you had no business doing. But there were good times. There were good times then, being on the bus, listening to different music. I remember 8th grade, what's my girl? Cheryl Lynn, Encore. Used to come on all the time when we would leave on one of 3 jams. Like, by the time we were getting off the bus or getting home from school and all that stuff on the bus, they would play Encore. And I couldn't figure it out. I just remember deserves an encore, and just be rocking on, you know, just rocking that shit on the bus. But yeah, good times to John Yeates. Shout out to everybody back home in Suffolk. Love y'all. What were your favorite type of dates as a teenager? My favorite type of dates as a teenager, more than likely, would be the movies. And the movies because I was a devious teenager, and the movies provided, it was a new movie theater. Don't get me wrong, I used to go to the old one by Chesapeake Square Mall, and I did some things in that theater with some kids, like myself. But yeah, the new movie theater was old now, Harborview. But those dates, you never know if we were going to actually watch a movie, if we were going to go behind the movies, if we were going to leave the movie area and go to another place and get into some shit we ain't had no business doing as teenagers. But like my favorite type of dates, yeah, I'd say movies, because I mean I like to watch movies. My dad always had a movie playing. When you walked in the house, you came to visit me or something, can John come outside to play? My dad got some action movie on, some comedy movie on, you know what I'm saying, like TV shows, or music. That's for damn sure. But the favorite type of dates would more than likely be, I'd say the movies. You know, like going out with a group of friends, especially when we learned how to drive and we had our own license and stuff like that. Yeah, we would go up to the movies and just wait to see what girls were coming up there to watch a movie, and then try to go see the movie with them. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. There was more strikeouts than home runs. That's for damn certain. I know that. I remember looking back at it now, like we spent a lot of time out there in that lobby. One, trying to sneak in movies we didn't pay for, and then two, trying to lure girls to go see movies with us. But typical teenage shit, man. I look at it and laugh now. Like just all that chasing shit when we could have been building businesses. But I mean, what do you know at fucking 16 and 15, 17 about that stuff? You know, I was there to teach you it. But yeah, favorite type of dates as a teenager certainly would be the movies, Harborview, and then that I think it was, I forget that the 8, whatever the movie theater was over at Chesapeake Square Mall. I don't remember it, but there used to be the old shit. I remember seeing Blue Streak there. But those are the type of dates that I used to like as a teenager. Ooh, what is the strongest emotion you felt outside of love? Pain. And really being the cause of your own pain from your expectations of others. You know what I mean? And but yeah, the strongest emotion I felt outside of love would be definitely pain. And some of my own doing, some being projected onto me, but a lot of it being entitlement, a lot of it being expectations, a lot of it being my ego, which is why I try to live by the creed of no entitlement, no expectations, and no ego. And you'll have healthy conversation, you'll have healthy relationships and all that stuff. Anytime, you have entitlement to something, you feel you have an expectation of someone, an ego, then things don't go according to what you want them to, then you're upset and you suffer. So yeah, pain is the strongest emotion. Pain is the strongest emotion that I've felt outside of love for many reasons. My expectations of what a family should do, my expectations of what a girlfriend should do, my expectations of what a best friend should do, my expectations of what I'm to be as a father, expectations of what my job should do for me. You know what I'm saying? Making everything about me. I'd say so much entitlement too. And where does it all come from? Where does that entitlement come from? It's being brought up as, feeling special. You know what I'm saying? Being love bombed, if you will. Probably love bombing and parenting too, right? But to grow up and to not have that, and you freak out. You're not used to that attention, and once you lose that attention, you are panicking. You know what I'm saying? Like you are starting to really, really panic, and because it's not what you're used to seeing. It's not what you're used to feeling, and And unless you're being put on this pedestal, given special treatment and never being criticized, which is, I would say, is rooted in a sense of like narcissism. Like who the fuck are you that you should not be talked about? Why anyone is capable of being talked about. But when you want life to go the way you want it and you don't accept life as it is, you suffer. Your attachments to things that can be taken away from you, you suffer. And I had a lot of those throughout my life. Still working on it, you know what I'm saying? But like the emotion I would say that I felt, you know, the pain that comes with that. And, you know, something that you don't want to lose, a feeling that you don't want to lose. Yeah, it can be quite painful. It very well can be very, very painful for you. But you can learn a lot. You know, you learn a lot in those moments about yourself when you do see said things happen that are out of your control, and accepting it, right? Just accepting the fact that I'm not in fucking control. I'm not. It's, you know, this situation has nothing to do with me. You know, people, just as people live, people die. Just as people come, that's what she said, people go. You know what I'm saying? Like they move on. And I mean, it's helpful when you just appreciate the present moment that you have with said individuals, because you don't always have it. You know what I mean? Like people move on. They grow. They find new things to learn, to have in their life. And it's something you have to accept, man. And sometimes we have strong attachments to things. I remember being attached to a lot of material things. Ultimate Warrior wrestling buddy. You know what I'm saying? I was very much attached to that. And I kept that throughout up until I was like 32, something like that. But then girlfriend at the time, she saw that I was a hoarder and wanted me to toss a lot of old shit out. And which we did, you know what I mean? I was very agreeable back then. So I gave up my shit, you know, something that I've been with like a very, very long time for this woman. I was willing to do that back then. But all in all, I mean, it helped break this thing because I was holding on to everything. And I know that I got that from I would say I get a lot more so from my dad. My dad is definitely a hoarder. And holds on to shit, and I did too. You know what I'm saying? I was holding on to these memories that I've put into these things, this sentimental value put into these gifts, and it's like those moments are gone. The gift is still here, though. You know what I mean? But there's it comes a time where you learn to let go. You learn to let go, and that's what I believe I was taught in that moment. Like I learned how to let go in those moments of having those things, the wrestling buddy, some old toys from childhood. I remember I was selling all of my wrestling men or action figures on eBay. And I've had them since I was probably 4 years old or maybe 3 years old. And I got a pretty penny for it. Don't get me wrong. I got a pretty penny for it, but I was very much attached to that. That was childhood. That's what I saw. Sometimes when like I'll be on YouTube and I'll see like an old commercial I remember seeing as a kid. And then like I look at how happy I believed I was then, as to where I kept trying to create happy now, like in a non-organic way of that. And I think that it created pain instead because of an expectation. Back then I was just living, right? I wasn't trying to find happiness. I was just happy. I was just living. But now, as a grown person, now you have expectations. You're trying to recreate the nest in which you came from, but it doesn't always work that way. You don't always get to recreate the nest. Sometimes you just have to create things as they are. When I left for the Air Force, that was the first time I was away from my family, period. That far. I'm talking about states away, from Virginia to Texas. And it was tough. Very much attached to my mother, attached to everything I knew, my lifestyle, everything I wore, how we talked, the music that we listened to, the movies we would go see, all of that area. I was very, very attached to that shit. So not being able to have the 757 within fingertips of me was painful, very, very painful, but it's because I was not accepting where I was. I was always chasing the past. For a long time, I created my own pain because I kept chasing the way things were. I kept trying to get back to Gitmo, Cuba. I kept trying to get back to Lexington Park when I was in Virginia. Once I got to the Air Force, I was trying to get back to Virginia. And then when I got out of the Air Force, I was trying to get back to the Air Force days. It was like I was creating my own suffering by staying in the past. I'm wanting to live in what used to be, but instead of living in the present moment, there's so much joy that can be had in the present moment. And it took me a while to realize that. And even sometimes, I'll slip up and get caught up in the past. And, the great reminder is the present moment. The present moment will keep you in the present moment. It will keep you solid. You know that if you're depressed, you're in the past. If you have anxiety, you're in the future. But if you are calm, you're in the present moment. And so a lot of the feelings that I would feel, the strongest emotion, the strongest feeling that I would feel outside of love, to me, was definitely pain on many levels. I like to talk mainly about the one that I created for myself and showing accountability for shit. And then once you feel pain, then you project that out. And you do that unknowingly. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, fuck that. They did it to me, I'm gonna do it to them. And it's like, nah, we gotta be cycle breakers, But some of us are still causing pain without knowing. And, it's like loving yourself where you are and working from there. And it takes time, right? Takes a little bit of time for some of us, Some of us got to take the same test until we pass it. And we will. Eventually, we will. And whether we pass it or not, we're going to take the same motherfucking test. We're going to keep getting the same shit. You know what I'm saying? The same equation. Like, damn, man. Tried to run away from this bitch. Here come on another test. It was number 2 on this test. Now it's number 16. Yeah. Truly, the strongest feeling, I would say the strongest feeling that I felt outside of love was definitely pain. Be it my own doing, be it somebody projected it onto me, or like in a physical sense, But nevertheless, you grow from it. And that's the beauty of life. And it's like you live long enough, you're gonna learn something. I don't know what. You live long enough, you're gonna feel something. But definitely if you live long enough, you're going to certainly learn a lot. If you're paying attention, you will learn so much about yourself, about others, and you'll see how much we're so similar. And which then hopefully you have grace on your peers, but ultimately on yourself, because you're just human. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna fuck up. You're gonna piss people off. People gonna be pissed off at you. You're gonna inspire people. You're gonna discourage some indirectly, and you learn from it, and you can evolve. That's the beauty of it. The beauty of life is, the evolution of looking at yourself, being damn near 40, and looking at yourself when you were 20, what you thought about the world, what you thought about the world when you were 10, when you thought about the world when you were 5, if you can remember that far back, and just seeing the evolution of all of that stuff, and realizing certain shit don't really matter. It's just ego games, you know what I'm saying? Don't play them ego games. Like, run out of quarters, game over. Don't play the ego games. Like, the more you play with your ego, you'll never be enough. And just knowing that you're whole the way you are. You know what I'm saying? You're not incomplete, you're not broken, you're fine just the way you are. You came in this motherfucker whole. You were not broken. You know what I'm saying? Like, the ego will convince you that, oh man, I gotta do this shit. But you're good. You're good. You are enough. Essentially, is what I'm saying. You're enough. If you've never heard it before, you've heard it right fucking now. You're enough. Truly. Just love yourself where you are. And love yourself unconditionally. It's tough. It's tough, man. Especially if you've never had it before. Yeah, you learn. You learn as you go along. But the strongest emotion, the strongest feeling that I felt outside of love is pain. How have your toxic traits aided you in life? My toxic traits have been a good defense for me, a form of protection, I'll say. Especially in my late teens, early 20s, I was very angry. There's a lot of anger, repressed emotion inside of me, so I projected that shit out, and it helped keep people from thinking I was somebody that they could push over, even though some ended up still pushing over my ass. So I mean, it helped some, and then it's like you push out the wrong ones, and you let in you push out the ones that actually value you, and then you let in the motherfuckers that don't. And it's weird how that works, but that's exactly what happened. Other times where toxic traits evaded you, that edge, it gives you an edge, you know what I'm saying, which somewhat gives like an attraction. You know, you don't come off as like a boring guy, and the last thing you want to do is bore a woman. So like your toxic traits keep things interesting, and some women find that to be attractive. At least I've learned throughout my life, as far as like those toxic traits. And of course you get to a certain age where it's like, all right, this shit isn't cool anymore, and I don't want this shit no more. I don't like the way you're talking to me. I don't like the way you're treating me, for that matter. And but it's aided, it's got its fair share of benefits that have come with it. But like I said, we all reach a stage where it's time to evolve, and everybody don't grow up at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Everybody doesn't move to the next level at the same time. We're not hitting the checkpoint to go to the next stage at the same time. But like I said, those traits, like I say, toxic traits that have aided me in life. Cheating got me through school in many ways. I guess that's one. Being a corrupt individual got me to figure out. It got me out of a toxic relationship that I was in. That I can say. One time, we were just both in the dark. We were both in dark places. We were trauma bonding, I believe. But me and the relationship that I created within that relationship allowed me to know what was going on within my toxic relationship. So I'll say it's a very toxic way of benefiting, if you will, getting information from an individual you're not supposed to get information from. But it worked out in my favor, saved my life in many ways. What other ways has toxicity benefited me? Like I said, scare tactic. You know what I'm saying? Like being able to show that you're not, you're not, you know what I'm saying? You're not a bitch. You're not a pushover. And deep inside, part of you is still a bitch. And I won't say a pushover, but like you're using anger to hide your fear. You know what I'm saying? And then in hopes that it makes them back off. And that's the thing. You bark enough, you're going to push people away, and they're going to stay away. Because they all right, I got the message. Eventually they start to love themselves. At first they're not loving themselves, and they're just taking what they believe they deserve from you. But eventually they're like, you know what? This is not kosher. It's not kosher for me. So I'm going to go elsewhere. I got the message. You know what I mean? So like I said, there's pros and cons to this whole toxic trait stuff, but it's life. All in all, it's just life, right? And like I said, you learn so much. You learn so much, man, just from experience in life. From a lot of mistakes. You'll learn more from your mistakes than you ever will from your successes, that's for sure. And that's the beauty of it, man. It keeps you going. And it gets the people going, as you know, they said in Blades of Glory. But you just keep moving, man. You keep moving. You learn from situations in hopes that it puts you on the path in which you want to be on in life. But you got to be in tune with the universe. You got to be in tune with God and the universe, or whatever, or whoever you believe in. If you want to see anything, and have that alignment, and forever giving gratitude to the universe. But that's a whole nother topic. But when it comes to toxic traits, those are the ones that I believe have benefited me in this life. So with that being said, I'm done. Good night, kids.